his left, Jess on his right. Hey, hold up, don't start a fight. He's got you covered with all the sports. Don't fret, he's wearing shorts. It's time for Waking Jake in the morning, Waking Jake at night. Jake sucks.
Good morning, Bakers. Welcome to Wake and Jake. Myself, Jake, Ronald Storielli, producer extraordinaire, big baby David. All I want for my birthday is a big baby Dave. Happy Monday, September 13th. Big 13th. Weekend. NFL came back September 11th, so all of those emotions were involved in the weekend. We went to the Yankees-Mets game last night, so if you watched some of that, you know, it was pretty electric. Also sad for Yankee fans. Because we just got back from Beach Week, I haven't unpacked or done laundry yet, so I was like, oh, what should I wear today? And basically a Yankees jersey was my option, and I wasn't very proud about it.
Not thrilled to do it.
It wasn't like an exciting day to wear that in New York City, but it's Bernie Williams, so he's the best. And, yeah, man, I don't know. So I think I should walk you guys through it a little bit. So Saturday, it was the end of Beach Week. We have to clear out of the house. And we do that, and we head to the John Boy's baby shower, which was a delightful time. BBD, driving, powerful, sexual. A Northeast driver. You command the road.
Some say.
You go get it, which I respect. We get up to the baby shower. We have a good time. Friends, family, some John Boy Media people there. The mailman, Nick Proch, some of you might remember him from Grown Losers. Him and his wife stayed in the city. We got dinners and drinks with them. Who just got you? Who tripped you up?
Jimmy just airdropped me a picture of me and Zach from the baby shower. Because I had like a real photographer and stuff.
Right.
Looks like we're about to make out.
Okay. Can we get that on the screen?
I can work on that.
Okay. We'll see if we can get the BBD Zach romance on the screen.
Like it doesn't look like there's a possibility of anything else that's going to happen in the next 10 seconds.
Okay. I'm excited for that. That's huge news. So, and by the way, Bakers, hope mom's not listening. I'm sneaky on like a 10-day bender. A lot of White Claws and beers drank every night at the beach, and then the baby shower out in the city, Yankees Mets last night. So yeah, the body's feeling that a little bit. I think I'm plus 8 pounds from where I like to be. Not where I like to be, but where I live normally. So we'll work on that together as a crew. I will say this, and this is kind of what all this was leading up to. Man, I really enjoyed my football time yesterday. Setting the fantasy lineup. I bought Red Zone. I had what I thought was going to be an adult moment. And again, I got to check some of the facts on this. Do you know how much Red Zone costs?
I think the prices changed over the years. But
So I'll tell you where my head was at.
Live with my parents.
So I'm excited to watch football, and in the New York City market, the games that were on were, the makeout pick is up, and yeesh, that's about to end in baby making. So I was like, all right, it's first NFL weekend, Sunday. What games are on? And on my TV was Falcons,
Eagles.
Falcons, Eagles, and Jets, Panthers. And I was like, oof. I don't know if I can sink my teeth into either of these. So I was like, you know what? Red Zone, I'm pretty sure it's free the first week. Like, I remember that being a thing. Go to Red Zone, doesn't come in, and I'm like, okay. What's Red Zone got to cost? Probably like $100. I was trying to think of like MLB package, trying to compare it to that.
I guess there's only 18 weeks.
Right.
That, like, there's 18 days of the year that it even works. So how much can that really be?
So I was wondering why that was in my brain, and I'm pretty sure during college days that was the thing, because it was like a debate, because we'd be like, all right, well, we've got 5 guys. If we all split it, we land here. It's $5 a month.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was in
if you do like all year, it's like
I
25.
I texted a couple buddies because I was like, should I get Red Zone? And they were like, Jake, kind of shocked. Like,
You don't have.
never saw $5 get in the way between you and unlimited football. So I got it, and that was exciting because that was like an unknown. And then, yeah, just drank it all in. It was good to be on the couch, hydrating, getting ready for the Mets-Yankees game that night, and watching a full slate of NFL football. So we're going to talk about the football. We'll catch up on baseball, obviously, our baseball roots. Maybe we'll hit that quick, then the football. We'll see. It's a late night last night. BBD, how are you?
Jake, it's a really bad day already. It's guaranteed. This is a bad day. So we're here. Anything I get from this point is a bonus. And so I don't know. Can't get worse. Battled traffic and parking and no sleep. So we're late here. Feel responsible for that. So yeah, got home last night after the Yankees died again. I got it in, it was 4 a.m. I believe. That's when my dad wakes up. So he and I overlapped.
Yeah, that's always a tough one.
And all he said to me was, "Don't tell me what happened. I'm about to watch."
Oh,
and I had like
to tell him something.
I had like 10 seconds of mental deliberation while I just went and like filled up water and tried not to make eye contact. Where I was like, I think like the nice thing to do would be to tell him like, don't do it.
Yeah.
But there was like just a lot in the game.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
the game
you should get
itself,
to experience it.
And that probably brings us to water cooler talk. I mean, if you're in the baseball world, Yankees-Mets last night was an electric experience. I said it on Talkin' Yanks that, like, we downplay the Yankees-Mets rivalry because it's not a true rivalry. It's 6 games a year that kind of don't affect the other team's season. And then I always follow that up with, if the Yankees and Mets played a World Series, it'd be one of the cooler things that's happened to me. We've got an intruder in the building. What are you grabbing right now? My little head couldn't hold that. Sorry about that. That was for those podcasts only. My friend Jim came into the room, put a helmet on my head, and grabbed his laptop. I always said a Mets-Yankees World Series, like, that's kind of one of my bigger goals, is to see one of those as an adult. And that's really tough. Both teams to be the best in their league at the same time. We went to the game last night. If you have no idea what we're talking about, it's like BBD's dad is about to do or doing. Pretty fun game. A lot of homers. Francisco Lindor with 3 of them, including what turned out to be the game winner. But yeah, back and
Benches
forth.
clearing.
The environment was electric. I was trying to think of other sporting events I've been to that felt like that. And I don't want Mets or Yankees fans to take this the wrong way. I think, even a good Yankees-Red Sox game, there's more animosity towards the other side.
There's more like, I think Met fans genuinely, like, as a whole, more of them dislike the Yankees, and it's like genuine.
Yeah.
Like, the Yankees, and I'll say, like, I definitely always want the Yankees to be better, and they kind of just always are, but so it hasn't been an issue.
I think,
but
I'm trying to think of the comparison. I think it's kind of like,
I have nothing to like worry about. Like I don't think about them until we're like against each other, or if they're just playing really well.
Like Mets,
I don't really
Red
think the
Sox,
Yankees are bad.
Mets, Red Sox, or Yankees, Red Sox, excuse me, feels like a serious pickup basketball game. Where Yankees, Mets kind of feels like a serious pickup basketball game, but with your friends. And it's like, shit, Lindor got us. We're going to hear about that. Like,
Yeah,
where if
it's that you're gonna hear.
Where if the
about
Red
it.
Sox beat you, it's like, we lost. Like, damn, that was our game.
like just mad.
Weird comparison. We'll have more of those going on. There was some. So Yankees lose the series. They won a crazy Saturday game. They embarrassed themselves Friday because that's what they do. It's part of their DNA this year. We'll see what matters for any of these teams. I mean, the Mets are back up to 500. The Yankees are a game out of the wild card as we speak. They're a game behind the Blue Jays and the Red Sox, who have the same winning percentage right now. Red Sox one more loss than the Blue Jays. So yeah, we'll see what it means for the Yankees. They're 2-8 in their last 10. The Blue Jays are 9-1 in their last 10. They are rolling.
Turntables.
They embarrassed the Orioles at this party this weekend. That was pretty wild. The other stories that jump to mind in the baseball world that we'll cover quick. I mean, Scherzer dropped it again. He's disgusting. He might win the Cy Young. If he doesn't, it's probably going to be Corbin Burns, my guy who I took a flyer on before the season, plus 4,000, I think, NL Cy. So I could really dance with that one if it happens. Him and Josh Hader combined for a no-hitter. I get it. It sucks that you have to pull him out of the game with 115 pitches, but also he's a part of what they're trying to do, and they are a really good baseball team. So it sucks. I'm a big sports are entertainment, and if Corbin Burns comes out for the ninth, that's a lot more entertaining, but there is a line. And they didn't cross it because they have bigger team goals. I think, if this was the Yankees and that was, I don't know what the comparison is, Jordan Montgomery.
I mean, if Sevy was healthy,
Right. It's like if Sevy came back, was starting, and wasn't built up and was at 100 pitches, he'd be like, can't do this.
he just missed 2 years, so gotta get him out of there.
Good for Corbin Burns. Good for my Brew Crew. Any other big baseball headlines? Hashtag headlines, Drake. I got references. Scherzer 3,000 K was a part of that. Jays were gross. Yeah,
Like
that's
a
kind
dominant game beyond that.
those are kind of the big baseball ones. Philly flunked the dunk again. We'll do some MLB. We'll get some MLB standing stuff, and then we'll talk about the foosball. The Rays obviously lead the AL East by 9 games. Blue Jays, Red Sox, and Yankees all within a game. That's partially exciting, partially a nightmare. The Chicago White Sox, they've been locked in for a while. The Houston Astros, they've basically officially won the West, 6.5 games up on Seattle and Oakland. Those teams are 2 games back of the Yankees of being 1 game back in the wild card. That was a weird way to lay it out. Atlanta Braves, 4.5 up in the NL East because the Phillies and Mets couldn't get out of their own way if they wanted to. Phillies, man. Lost to the Rockies. That's really bad. Brew Crew, 14 games up in their division. 89 wins. That's why they pulled them. They won 5 straight again. Dude, the San Francisco Giants. I was just about to say the Dodgers. They've won 3 straight. Scherzer with another crazy start. San Francisco Giants have won 7 straight. What? Who are they? San Francisco Giants, man. What's a weird Jakey comparison I got for them? The San Francisco Giants are senior year of high school, a new girl transfers in, and she's like, you think she's kind of cute. Like, okay, this is cool. This senior year cute girl in the school. And then at the end of the year, like, you think she's hotter than she is because she's new, and you're like, oh, new girl. And then by the end of the year, you're just like, wait, did we just get this beautiful girl in our senior class? Is she going to win, like, prom queen? Another weird, bad comparison, but they're 93-50. They have the best record in baseball, and they're 2.5 games up on the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are just on the hunt. And again, like, the Dodgers, that weird Giants thing I just said, they have 93 wins. Them or the Dodgers is going to end up in the one-game wild card? What? To go down to the Reds or the Padres for one game? That's going to be insane. And right now, I think the Padres and Reds are tied for that second wild card spot. The St. Louis Cardinals, shout out to the Lou. I've been on the Birds for talking baseball for a little bit. St. Louis Cardinals are a game out of the wild card.
Wow.
They had a terrible season. Like a bad year. And now they've got the Mets, so that's kind of must watch. The Padres, so they're kind of in control. Brewers, Cubs. So, but man, the fact that they're even in the mix at all, good for the St. Louis Cardinals. That's the baseball talk for today. We got to talk football. I'm more excited to talk football than I thought I was going to be. I don't know if that's a weird statement. But the water cooler baseball talk was brought to you by DraftKings. Holy smokes, was Poppy placing bets while he was in Jersey. I mean, at the Shore House, at the baby shower, was placing bets on the baby. After tonight, week 1's over. A little Monday Night Football. Forgot about that. Do we care about the game?
Ravens Raiders.
Oh,
That's a nice matchup. Yankees aren't playing.
if I'm awake, yeah, I'll watch some of that. I like Lamar, I like Gruden. Week 1 will be over, but it's all just getting started. DraftKings Sportsbook. And they're still doing, $200 in free bets instantly when you bet $1 on any game. So, guys, $200 in free dollars to play with. I've been sprinkling. I mean, I did pretty good on the football yesterday. I know me and BBD both Giants Broncos under seemed like free money. Turned out it was.
That was the big one.
I was really proud. Tyrod Taylor was like over 212 yards. He's show. They were playing the Jags.
I did the.
I know he's not great, but he's played a lot, and the Jaguars stink.
Similarly, I did the one they're calling it the Gary V special, but the Darnold was over 250.
Whoops!
I was like, well, he's gonna beat the Jets. I think in that game I also did Panthers -4.
I would, if you haven't, go play around with the DraftKings Sportsbook. I told anyone that would listen to me, which was nobody. It's so easy. And I did really good with my bets, so I was pretty happy. My new favorite baseball one is starting pitcher gives up a home run and team loses. So I basically just singled out the 3 worst starting pitchers that day. And I think I went like 4 for 5 in those. Because, I mean, they're going to give up a home run. Everyone tries to hit a home run, and if they're really bad and on a bad team...
The best pitchers are fairly likely to give up a home run.
A home run, yeah.
At some point.
So, yeah, I did really good on those, which was pretty cool. I was excited about that. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code JOHNBOY to receive $200 in free bets when you place a $1 bet on any football game. That's promo code JOHNBOY at the DraftKings Sportsbook, official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older. New Jersey, Indiana, PA only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gaming problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or Indiana 1-800-9 with it. Chat, I see you guys popping off this morning. I love it. I absolutely love it. Let's relive the NFL weekend a little bit. When we last left you, the NFL was getting kicked off Thursday night. Bucks, Cowboys. If you guys don't know this story yet, this is pretty good. So the Yankees series finished Thursday. Blue Jays, 4-game swept them after the Yankees lost 2 to the Orioles before that. So times were bad. So we recorded Talking Yanks episode. It's a little messy. Couple drinks, couple performance enhancers or dehancers, depending how you look at it. So we record a little bit of a wild up and down episode. And then, BBD producing his butt off, always. Me and Jimmy kind of check in on our phones to see what's going on in Yankee land. And there's some Tom Brady's Cowboys tweets too. And so we're seeing the tweets, and it was all about the Cowboys kicker, Zerline, because he had missed a bunch of kicks earlier in the game. And so all the tweets were like, Zerline redemption game. Like, let's go. And we were like, wow, okay, Zerline hit the game winner. Cool. It was late, so we didn't even process it. So we sit in silence with, I think the TV wasn't even on.
I think it was like on
or it was
mute,
on the Yes Network was on
yes.
mute. And then about 5 minutes later, that was a little exaggeration, seeing texts come through from my buddies like, you got to get out of bounds, spike it. And I was like, be a weird time to send those. And, so opened up the ESPN app and saw the Bucks were on their final drive. Tom Brady being Tom Brady, all the fun stuff. And we were just sitting in silence, not watching it. Turned it on for the game-winning field goal by Ryan Suckup. Good for him. Like 13-year career, and people were going to remember this kick because it was Brady in opening night. That was fun. Again, how we drank in that game was a little different. Antonio Brown goes off. God, that's where, dude, you look at the Bucks and you're like, feels like a video game. Like Mahomes and the Chiefs kind of don't feel that way. It's like, well, Hill's been there with them, and Kelsey's good. They drafted Edwards-Helaire.
Guys that like you think of,
they're like Gronk, Antonio Brown, Leonard Fournette. Like
the Bucks, it's literally like every skill position player you've wanted in fantasy one.
Giovanni Bernard is on that team. Like it's literally feels like if you did a Madden draft and at the end of the round you start drafting like the names, the guys you know are better than their ratings. Like Leonard Fournette's rated a 71, but he's like, better.
Yeah, but he's like
a
big build. And
if you played Madden, you used to draft Devin Hester and you'd put him in the slot, and it would be like, well, he's rated a 74 wide receiver, but he's faster than everyone. So if you just get him the ball,
open, get the ball to him, you're gonna have a good time.
Little Jakey analytics there. Dak played and he looked pretty good. 403 passing yards. Glad he's back. That guy, Amari Cooper with the big game, CeeDee Lamb. So, that was, the perfect kickoff to the NFL season. Tom Brady, America's team, the Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? And then, to walk you through week 1 a little bit, not to be a cron pod. Eagles-Falcons, again, really tough game to get interested in. Everyone's been really crapping on the Eagles. And they beat the Falcons, who, let's be honest, the Falcons aren't really respected too much as a team. But, Matt Ryan, you're like, he can put it together.
There are people who thought they might be able to bounce back a bit.
They got a new coach. They drafted, I think they've been hurt a lot defensively the past couple years.
They have some draft capital after flipping Julio.
Eagles ran up on them, 32-6. Good for Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to be a really good fantasy quarterback this year. Like, I think he's going to have a lot of stat lines like yesterday. Like, he'll probably throw for 225 to 250. He'll have 1, 2, or 3 passing touchdowns and then 1 or 2 rushing touchdowns. And as a fantasy quarterback, that's super valuable.
Combine one way or another for, like, at least 3.
Yeah. Devonta Smith, He gets his first receiving touchdown. Like, people have been pretty rude to him. I hope he's really good. Because it's just been a classic case of like, well, there's bigger guys and there's faster guys, but somehow he always gets open. And that was his first touchdown. He was just open. So
I wanted him pretty bad.
we'll see. Yeah, that's right. The G-men were in on him. We'll get to the G-men later. Good for the Eagles. In the grand scheme, I don't think it means much, but in the NFC East, you win a couple games, you're going to be in the mix, so good for them. The one where I told BBD yesterday I want to walk on some graves, we did our NFL preview episode with Bobby Skinner. Our biggest openly admitted miss was the Niners, which we'll talk about them in a minute, just because we like some of the other teams in that conference. The Steelers and the Bills. I'm a little tough on the Bills. I need a little bit more of a track record. I appreciate Josh Allen, and he had a really incredible year last year. But this game is exactly why. I was high on the Steelers because they have a constant track record of being in the mix. They looked awful in the first half. The Steelers didn't cross midfield in the first half. They end up winning in Buffalo. In Buffalo. This is supposed to be one of your best teams in the AFC. They can compete with the Chiefs on any given day. Steelers beat them in Buffalo. Big Ben does enough. They have a special teams touchdown. After looking terrible, Big Ben made some nice plays. They couldn't run the ball at all. Kudos to Buffalo on that. Their run defense was disgusting. Najee Harris, who everyone liked a lot coming into this year, couldn't do anything. Man, like, really good win for the Steelers. And, yeah, a lot of people were giving me crap because they're like, the Steelers just aren't talented. And the Bills are so good. Oh, my God. That's football, Susan. Man, as I go, I'm looking at the games. There's not a lot of games you can't. I guess you could ignore Texans, Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence debut, but, like, what is that game? Do you know the Texans head coach? I heard his name and my mind was blown. Not in my book. I don't even remember it.
Is this his first year?
Yes.
Okay, so I feel less bad about not knowing it.
Man, I mean this in the nicest way. Houston Texans head coach is David Culley.
Sure.
I had nothing on him. I don't know where he was. I don't know what he's about. He just won his first NFL game, so shout out. David Culley, little bro.
Kind
tonight.
eyes.
He looks like a very kind man. He looks gentle and curious. Trevor Lawrence made his debut. He looked like a rookie quarterback who's really talented. He had some highs, he had some lows. Texans played well. Hopefully David Culley's cool, and you know there were signs at the game that like Tyrod better than Deshaun, so it kind of shows how
he's been all over.
How quickly you can get forgotten in the world of sports.
Looks like he's had NFL jobs since 1994. Immediately before this, he was the Ravens passing game coordinator.
Ooh, PGC.
Yeah, assistant head coach, wide receivers coach, and passing game coordinator was his title the last 2 years. These are the Chiefs before that.
David
the Bills
Culley,
right before that.
You have a fan in me. I'm rooting for you, my man. BBD, we have a lot of New York sports connections, so we should check these boxes. My Broncos beat your Giants 27-13. What can't be called a pretty football game. I mean, the Broncos tried to turn it over inside the 5-yard line twice. They were successful one of those times. A little kudos to, like, Logan Ryan made a really nice play, and he's a good football player, so I'll give him that. But Giants, I mean, 13 points, and 6 of those come at the end of the game when the game didn't matter.
No.
The spread came into consideration. But, man, and I need to eat some crow on Teddy Bridgewater. I was pretty mean about him on anyone that's talked Broncos with me, Bobby Skinner on our preseason episode, he looked awesome. 28 for 36, 264, 2 touchdowns. Melvin Gordon with a big day on the ground for my Broncos. I like that. Everyone was giving Javonte Williams so much love this preseason. I don't know. I hope I see it. Jerry Jeudy with a potentially scary leg injury. That's no fun. I think they said high ankle sprain. 8 to 12.
6 to 8 was the
6
tweet
to
I
8.
saw.
Okay.
Meet in the middle, just call it 8.
Saquon had 10 carries. This was his first game back. 10 for 26. That ain't great. Sterling Shepard had a big day. Good for him. Fayao in the chat. David Culley was the wide receivers coach of Vanderbilt from 79 to 81. So no wonder I'm such a Culley guy. BBD, any thoughts on your Giants? I mean, you were dialed into the first half of this game.
Yeah, I mean, Shepard had a good game, and that's kind of it. It was pretty disappointing. Obviously, it's one game. Season not over, but it was like the first time in a while there's kind of not big expectations on the Giants, but they should be competing to win the division.
Looking
it's a team
for a
that
step.
it's a team that, last year felt like took a big step forward. Obviously the record doesn't stick out. They finished 6-10 or whatever, but by the end of the year they felt like the best team in the division. They didn't win it, but it felt like they really had some momentum going. I liked most of what happened this offseason. Right. And for them to lose like that this year was like, I felt like, nothing's really changed. You got to kind of prove to me that like there's anything different. And the defense kind of did what the defense did last year, too. They didn't do it quite as well.
Right.
Like last year, their whole thing, like Bobby tweets all the time, the bend, don't break defense.
Right.
That's for the most part what they did. They kind of rely on generating turnovers, which again they
kind of did, yeah.
They did their job for the most part. They needed
needed
another third down stop at any point,
right? And if
I think a lot of teams say that
if the offense helped them out at all, maybe they could have done that.
Them at all. And early on, at least Jones, like statistically, was fine.
Yeah,
like in the first half, like it was fine.
Yeah, I mean,
and then to come out in the third quarter,
we're just getting to
kill the best drive they had.
Just getting to a nervous spot where Daniel Jones, where that feels like the story. Like it's like, well, he wasn't bad, but was he good? I don't know.
Yeah, like I like Daniel Jones. I think more than most. Like I think he can be good enough.
Yeah,
which like is kind of all I ever look for. But is that a guy? Whenever his rookie deal's done, or I'm not really willing to pay him at this rate. So at some point, a tough decision's got to get made.
It's tough at home against a Broncos team that they're not going to be an elite NFL team. I mean, they can be solid, but
they should have been. This should have been a close game if the Giants were gonna. The Giants are expecting to be anything.
Yeah.
So it just kind of stinks.
That's tough. I mean,
best news they have going for them is the pick they got from the Bears. Looks good.
Right. That's the best thing they got going for them.
And they might still be good because it's one game.
It's football. Yeah. We'll see.
And every team's gonna get injuries.
Kenny Galladay hadn't been practicing, but he played. So we'll see. We're not gonna kill the Giants.
He has 4 catches, 64 yards.
Go check out Talking Giants. They're rolling.
Bottom line.
I'm sure they've got a lot of emotions. Cross town / they actually share the same stadium. The Jets played the Panthers. This was the Sam Darnold redemption game. This game was 16-0 forever, which was low-key hilarious. Wilson was running around for his life, which Sam Darnold must have been chuckling under his breath about. He looked pretty bad in the first half. He actually bounced back and looked better. You see why he gets people excited. He can do some of the runaround stuff and chuck it deep and
a couple throws that were like, oh wow.
Yeah, I mean he's got that.
That first touchdown I think was the one that was like really impressive, like perfectly timed.
Yeah. No, and he's got the legs, like that. They just never had a real shot in this game. I mean, it like fake felt like they did at the end. It's his first game on the road. You and Bobby Skins got killed for your Panthers love, but they might get off to a nice start, and I think Matt Rule is a good head coach. McCaffrey is nasty.
They got a defense full of like just real players.
Christian McCaffrey, like, I don't know, total yards kind of gets lost. Like, you don't measure players in total yards. Like, you measure a guy in running yards, passing yards, or receiving yards. The way Christian McCaffrey stumbles into like 175 yards, it's pretty wild. 21 carries for 98 yards, 9 receptions for 89. That's just like such a go-to guy in an offense. You don't see it. Like, if you have one of those guys, like, that's a good player. Like, how many running backs got 21 carries? See if I can look that up. NFL stats, Jake.
In the modern passing-oriented game.
I'd be interested to see what sports radio is saying about Wilson. I feel like it's got a net. I haven't said that in a while. It's got to be pretty strong. Because you remember the second half a lot more than the first half. And, like, he was running for his life. Like, that's tough. Let's see. McCaffrey had the fourth most rushing attempts yesterday. Damian Harris, Ingram, and Mixon were above him. And then receptions-wise, he was tied for third in receptions. So that's one guy. Mari Cooper, Tyreek Hill, the only receivers that had more catches. And they're receivers. They're not a running back. So, yeah, Jets, Giants, I don't really know what to tell you.
Jets, overall, the Zach Wilson stat line's pretty good. It
ended up in an okay
game.
Place.
It's
first
fine.
Game.
Showed some stuff. Got sacked 6 times this game, and then the Jets lost Mekhi Becton. I guess we don't know for sure what that's going to be, but it looked like one of those.
Yeah, and it just Mets fans, don't take this the wrong way, and I think you probably will, but it was it was their touchdown. It was their first touchdown. They were losing 16-0, and it's like pass to the end zone. Corey Davis was the captain of the Jets, which just made me laugh on my couch. It's not meant to be shots fired, but it is. Suffer an MCL sprain, says Ian Rappaport. Would be good news considering other possibilities. So hopefully he's good.
Get back.
Because he's supposed to be a cornerstone of that team. But
the video of him getting carted off was heartbreaking.
And it was just like Zach Wilson, first touchdown. Jets are like back in this game that they have no business being back in. And then they turn the camera and Becton's down. And you're like, God, don't be a Jets fan. But good for them. Maybe Wilson's awesome. Like he showed some good stuff, so good for him. What other games jump out? Vikings-Bengals was one of the crazier ones yesterday. Bengals beat the Vikings. We talked about how the NFC North might stink, and we'll talk about that more in a second. Good for the Bengals, man. Jamar Chase had the big touchdown pass. That was cool. Joe Burrow. They're going to be an exciting team. I don't think they're good, but they're exciting. The Vikings are just like, again, they could have won that game. Kirk looks awful and then good on plays. I don't know. A tough game to sink your teeth into, but definitely fun to follow, especially as that became the crazy overtime game of the day. Speaking of crazy games, the 49ers and the Lions, what had no business being a crazy game. The Niners dominated early. It was, I started feeling bad about our, none of us picking the Niners. Because they were up 38-10 in the third. 38-10 in the third quarter, which became 38-17. 41-17, 41-25, 41-33 as the Lions scored 2 touchdowns in the final minute. They got an onside kick. Bad Debo Samuel fumble. It got close to being like Big Evan and Co. He's a Niners fan, friend of mine, and he's like, you know, when people talk about their team, they say like, oh, this is going to be their worst loss since blank or whatever. He said this would just be the worst loss. Lions coming back from down 28 in the third quarter. Good for the Lions for fighting. I think the Niners are going to be pretty good this year. Jimmy G did enough. Elijah Mitchell got a ton of carries out of their backfield. That has fantasy implications. That game was a really good watch for 10 minutes or so. The Packers, like the biggest losers of the day. What the hell was that?
Yeah.
My God, after their offseason and Rodgers, they played the New Orleans Saints. Jameis Winston at quarterback. He has what looks like a video game box score. 14 for 20, 148 yards, 5 touchdowns. When I say video game box score, I think the real ones know that your box score ends up looking like that if you're really nasty, because it's not like 500 yards passing. Whatever, defensive specialists over here. Good for the Saints. This game took place in Jacksonville, which I didn't realize until the game time because of the Hurricane Ida stuff. So that was kind of wild. Good for Jameis. He's got the hilarious quote after. If you haven't gone, go look up that sound clip. It was making the rounds yesterday. He goes to reference something his trainer says, which, okay, cool. Like, whatever. But he forgets the quote, so that's not great. Pats Dolphins. I think this was just a not fun game. Dolphins win 17-16. Didn't watch this one down the stretch. Can't tell you like who blew it and stuff. Dolphins, good for them. Not looking good. Mac Jones, one of his first passes was so bad. He was like facing the wrong way. Whatever. Get better, young man. Chiefs come back against the Browns. Browns got an early lead. Chiefs just never scared because they don't have to be. They win 33-29. The Browns did look good. They didn't get a ton of love from us on the season preview. They should be good. Cardinals rolled up on the Titans. Yo, get familiar with Kyler Murray. That sentence was kind of loserish by me. Kyler Murray's awesome. Kyler Murray's awesome. His highlights, the way he plays, the way he carries himself, just 10 of 10, electric. They dominated the Titans. Who, again, the Titans have been a really good team the past couple years. A lot of the same crew is still there. In Tennessee, they rolled up on them. That's kind of I'd circle that one a little bit. Like Kyler, he got a chance to be special, and I think he might have started really going for it this year. Before Kyler, there was Russell Wilson. They dominated the Colts at the Colts' home, excuse me. Again, the Colts weren't really in this game. Russell's nasty. Tyler Lockett, how does he get so open? It's like wild. I've seen him catch the same touchdown pass 100 times. It was like a Colts. Colts had a few, oh baby, what is he doing moments in their game, and that makes sense. Carson Wentz, I think his box score looks okay, but yeah. Chargers beat Washington. That game was actually really fun. That game was on the red zone a lot of back and forth. Good entertainment there. Let's see, any other 1 or 4 p.m. games? That's all of them. And then Bears-Rams. I mean, Stafford puts up a really nice box score. Our guy Trevor Plouffe and his wife Olivia were in the suite with his family. Friends, neighbors. So, yeah, like we were at Yankees-Mets, so I can't tell you any plays that stood out or anything like that, but everything on the Twitters and internet made it seem like the Rams had control of this one pretty much through and through. Cooper Kupp's good. Cooper Kupp is good.
Good player.
So that's cool for him. Good for the Rams. Good for Stafford. And yeah, that's kind of the full NFL recap. Anything jump out, BBD? Anything else we need?
No, I think we're there.
Mm-hmm. Who was like really good yesterday? What would be like the fantasy? Well, I think Jalen Hurts will have a big fantasy year. Deebo Samuel, I didn't believe in him. He was pretty nasty yesterday. Trevor Lawrence, be good. That'd be good for the game of football. Let's start tidying it up. We've got talking baseball at noon. Everyone's tired. Set up the office. Comment of the day. Bake the algorithm. I ask you guys to do that. We're up to 393 subscribers on the tube. Thank you guys. 4K next step. People are talking. We'll see. Last episode, we were live from the shore. Couple comments. Drake Souza. Gotta ask on the San Francisco Giants, are you feeling Crawford or Bryant as the hot boy of the team? I mean, there's your classic new versus old. I think Bryant's more traditionally hot.
I think he'd be the Family Feud answer.
Crawford's
definitely, like, if he's your type.
Yeah.
I think I'm a little more of a KB guy. But
if you're a Giants fan, you probably answer Crawford. I think everyone else is saying Bryant.
if you're neutral.
Matthew Nauer commented and said, "Is it time to adopt UCLA as your team? On the rise, 2-0 right now, and you can say you came before we got good. Been there."
You said you might be in on them.
Also, Jake is a true SoCal Beach guy at heart. I mean, that's true. A lot of my outfits would tell you that. Okay, I'm open to UCLA. I didn't even mention college football that took place this weekend. Didn't get to watch a lot of it. Was excited. Iowa State. That was pretty cool. Game day was there. Ashton Kutcher was the guest speaker. So I guess I'm not that excited about it. My voice didn't say very excited. Oregon beat Ohio State. That's in the college football world. That's huge news. Are the Ducks back? Are Ohio State dead? One of my college football, man, it's so hard to crack those top teams. It's so hard. Wow, Stanford rolled up on USC. Good for them. Arkansas rolled up on Texas. That is just like Texas and USC during my high school years. Like, those were just the teams. I mean, Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, Lendale White. Texas with Vince Young. Cedric. What was his name? Running back for the Bears.
Oh.
Cedric. Oh, that's going to make me mad.
Benson.
Cedric Benson. Yes. Man, seeing those two box scores back to back is just like, yeah, those programs haven't been relevant in a while. BYU beats Utah in a battle of Utah stuff. College football happened. We'll keep you up to date as we go. Thank you for leaving your comments. Bake the algorithm. Share. Watch. BBD.
Glaber starting at second base.
Good. Let's go. Like, sometimes there's only one way to learn. Who's at short, Gio or Wade?
Wader.
Okay.
And DJ's playing third. First time.
Oh, wow.
First time since July.
Baseball's so nuts. Baseball's so nuts. Let's get excited for that.
And Judge is playing.
Good. Poops. BBD Bro of the Night is an award we give out on this show. There's a lot of NFL. I could do the Corbin Burns stuff. I could just give it to myself. It feels like a cop-out. I'll give it to Teddy Bridgewater, man. I shat on him. I know the football world. Interested to see what goes on. I love sports. I think we've hit the point that we're so big in baseball that I think people for life are going to give like this is why you're a baseball guy. Those were half the comments under our NFL stuff, even though, again, Steelers, Bills, Poppy 1, you guys 0 as of right now. Teddy Bridgewater, I got in, I think Bobby told us his season high last year for touchdown passes in his career for a season was 15, and it was like, whoa. That's like 3 games for Mahomes. Teddy diced up the Giants. Again, we'll see what that means in the grand scheme of it. I was tough, and part of it was, for me, what I stumbled into, the Washington football team, who's supposed to have, like, an incredible defense. Like, if the Washington football team's defense puts it together with Ron Rivera, they're supposed to be special. That I was like, why didn't they get Teddy Bridgewater to manage the game and make sure their defense always has a shot, instead of Ryan Fitzpatrick, who could lose you a game with 2 interceptions? And why don't the Broncos have Ryan Fitzpatrick, who, sure, he'll lose you a couple, but he also might win you a couple? Like, Ryan Fitzpatrick could go toe-to-toe a couple games, which the Broncos kind of need. I mean, I got proven wrong yesterday because the Broncos do have a lot of talented options. Jerry Jeudy got hurt, but Noah Fant, their tight end, he's really good. Hamler, he's a speedster. He had the huge drop yesterday. Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams. Cortland Sutton kind of got shut down yesterday. I wonder if Bradbury was on him the whole day.
And a couple timely catches, though. At least he had one of the third down conversions that broke me.
I wonder if, because Bradbury's nasty, I wonder if he was on him all day. Teddy balled out, man. He had a couple scramble plays that were really nice. He stiff-armed and then made the touchdown pass. And something I didn't know, in his career, Teddy Bridgewater is incredible against the spread. He's like 35-10 or something, like lifetime. And one of my friends called him Spready Bridgewater. And I was like, wow, that's good.
That's good stuff.
So, yeah, he looked really good. If he can do some of that, like the Broncos are a talented team, I'm not roped in, but I would love to be. I didn't plan on being roped in at all. And now there's kind of a chance. Yeah. Hope is a dangerous thing. BBD.
Like Teddy getting the bro of the night, I was going to give it consideration myself if you didn't. It's like, obviously maybe the big picture of what everything you were saying preseason can still very much be true.
Right.
But, I mean, Teddy
was good yesterday.
28 years old. There's prime years for a quarterback.
Had a serious injury and stuff a few years
Had
back.
a big injury. And on the other hand, there's a reason he kind of hasn't stuck anywhere yet. So, it's just an interesting situation to monitor.
Welcome home, Ted.
I think I'm also going to stay in the football world. I mean, he's had games where it's a more clear-cut decision, and it's more obvious when he should be getting it. Because his stat line doesn't even fully stick out. I'm going to go to Alvin Kamara. Kamara?
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. 20 carries, 83 yards. But on the receiving end, 3 catches, including a touchdown. So, still doing it. And somehow, it just feels like somehow in the shuffle of everything with football, and maybe it's the Saints losing Drew Brees, and like feeling less relevant. Obviously, still good, all that, and Jameis balled out, whatever. And maybe it says more about me, but I feel like Kamara's been a bit lost. It's like, wait, no, he's one of like the guys. Like, he's in that McCaffrey tier. He's been there a couple years now. Like he's a dude. I think he was probably the consensus number 2 pick in fantasy football drafts this year for good reason.
Yeah,
2 or 3
for a star. There's a couple things going on. He split everything with Ingram, so you just kind of view that through a different scope. Drew Brees, was an NFL star for years, and the quarterback always gets so much love, and Jameis is really well known. And hell, I mean,
Former
amongst
number 1 pick.
even with head coaches, like Sean Payton is really well known. So yeah, when I flipped to the Saints game for a little bit yesterday, and they said like Alvin Kamara, the face of the franchise, and I was like, whoa, I haven't really pictured him like that, but he deserves to be.
Yeah, and
Like if you think of Saquons and McCaffreys and those guys, like Alvin's with it.
Does a lot of the same stuff.
It's a cool name.
It's a cool name.
Alvin.
Maybe he's hurt by wearing a weird number. I think he's still number 41.
41, you think that hurts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can't be helping.
It's a theory. I'm open to
I think Saints identities over the years has been more centered around their defense, maybe not as much the last few years. So when their offense is getting shine, it's always been Breeze, Peyton, and Michael Thomas, who down year last year and hurt now. So I don't know what he's going to be. So it really is like kind of Kamara, certainly the face of the offensive side of the ball, him and Jameis. It's okay. Good player.
How about it, Saints? How about it? We got to wrap up, guys. Talking baseball at noon. I think we're going to do Talking Yanks pregame show like right now. Chris Rose rotation. Glasnow is back, I believe. Excited for that. JJTV, we're playing, we're watching, we're dancing. Pinstripe Strong. If you want more raw Yankees emotions about what it all means, go check that out. Talking Nets. The Mac of all trades, Keith McPherson. Talking Giants. If you want that, go check that out. Talking Yanks if you want that as well. So everything on the network, John Boy
From
Media.
the fames out there.
Fame.
Probably a recent sequence to check out.
Ooh, Saquonse.
Take your pick.
Saquonse. Thank you guys. Let's have a good week. We'll see you here. We'll see you here Thursday. Bugs.